Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to show you how to create this beautiful creative loop mandala in the app IBIS Paint X. I'll be giving step-by-step instruction and also sharing the techniques that I used to create this loop mandala. And if you're new to my channel, please check out all my videos, and if you find it useful, subscribe to my channel and watch the videos. So first, I'm going to use FST canvas for this. So here, first of all, I'm going to apply the background color in my first layer, and the color going to be something like dark teal blue. And in the second layer, I'm going to draw my mandala. And for this, I'm using felt tip pen hard brush and kaleidoscope ruler. So the simple tip to create very classic is I use the higher number of divisions. So here in my kaleidoscope ruler, I used 36 division. And if you want to add more classic, more minute details to your mandala, then you can still go for little more higher divisions like 40 or something like that. That's up to you. And if the number of division is very less, the chances of getting the classic minute detailed mandala that like I created, that to get such a look you can't use lesser number of divisions, so you need more divisions of kaleidoscope ruler. So here I'm using 36, and you can still try something higher or little bit lower, but not something like 5 divisions, or I mean 6 or 10 or something like that. My advice is go for a bigger number. So next, here you can see I'm just drawing the basic shapes like a flower shape, and to get that loop mandala, our center has to be an empty for this mandala. So make sure you give a lot of space at the center of mandala, and you start from middle of the canvas, so that when you are duplicating and creating two mandala and creating overlap look, there should be enough space at the center for that looping process. So basically, just leave some space, not a little bit, give a lot of space at the center, and draw the shapes, the design that you want to add. Like this, here you can see at the center to the middle of the canvas, it is empty. So that's the reason I have to keep the space for the looping process, because if I have very small center gap, then the while looping, the designs will look more messy. So it's like more filled, something like that, and you can't clearly visualize the looping. So that's why give more space at the center. So here you can see I'm adding the details, and like these also don't go for fully colored artwork mandala, because here you can see for each design I'm leaving some space which are transparent. Here you can see I'm using the mild teal color, teal blue color for this drawing, and there are more empty space in the form of floor or anything like that, so that the shadow details will be visible in that transparent area. So it is also one tip for creating that look. So always add some empty shape details like this. Here you can see I'm drawing a lotus flower here, and I'm not going to fill the lotus with color. Instead, I'm just going to fill the border that I am drawing now like this, and here I'm going to fill with the color. In such a way, you can create some empty shapes, it's like hollow shapes, so that you can add the shadow details and everything. So now I feel like it is bigger and it almost filled the canvas. So I'm reducing the size using the zoom option in the transform. Now duplicate this 2 times. One is for our reference purpose. And if you feel you you spoiled the artwork, just delete that layer and already you have the copy at the bottom and you can use that. So now I just choose the one mandala layer and moving to the bottom using the translation Y and rename that layer as the bottom because both are of same design, everything going to be symmetrical or same, so you can't find which one is at the top and which that which layer in that the mandala present. So to avoid confusion, just rename them. And here I'm going to rename this as top. Okay, now we have two mandalas, and here we're going to start the looping process. So for creating looping look, what you have to do is I'm going to create some difference between these two mandalas. So just duplicate the top mandala and fill with the color white. So for that, I'm using the alpha lock and then using the laser fill to fill the color. So once I fill, now you can find the difference between the top and the bottom mandala so that we can check where we have to create the looping look. So for creating looping look here and here, there are the looping look. So in each mandala, one side has to be at the top and another side has to be at the bottom. So to create that, here for the bottom mandala, I am going to erase at the right side. So here you can see where there is overlap between these two designs. That alone I am going to erase the design in the bottom layer. So here you can see it's almost like tracing the shape of that white color mandala, which is the duplicate of the top mandala. So here you can see in the same shape of that mandala, I'm erasing like this, and now you can see there is a look like loop. So now you can just erase, delete that white color mandala. Now just duplicate this bottom layer so that we can erase the top layer. Now in same way, I'm going to fill the bottom layer like this and reduce the opacity of the top, and you can find where is the overlap is. Here you can see at the right side already we have erased, so there is no overlapping loop, and at the left side we are erasing now in the top layer. Now everything is done. Just delete this white color mandala and you can find there is no merging or overlapping. So now we created that look and we have to create the 3D look. For that, I'm going to do the process one by one. First, fall for the bottom layer and just choose the bottom layer, create the clipping layer for that. And here I'm going to add the color so that we can create a colorful mandala. So I'm going for some aqua blue color like this. So you can see how I'm adding the shade just like a circular motion like this. And at the outer side of the mandala, I'm going to use this color, red, like this. Going for the brighter one here, and the bg color at the inner side of that. So at where you have the overlapping, there you have to create some shadow which is formed by the top mandala. So to create that look, I just added some dark shade there near the overlapping. Also the dark shade of teal blue as well as maroon color. So I'm adding those shades here like this. Now you can feel like there is a overlap and there is a shadow formed due to that. So now in the same way you have to color for the other mandala as well. Now I just skipped that process to avoid the wastage of time. And now we have two mandalas. So what you have to do is you have to use the bevel inner for both the mandalas. Just by clicking on that mandala layer, top and bottom, and use the style filter. In that, you have the bevel inner. Adjust the parameters like this, the same way I'm doing. Also, adjust the lighting like this by rotating this light symbol, and also change the highlight color if you want. You can try any colors and check out which color looks better and find out your favorite. Here I'm using aqua blue color for this and everything looks perfect. I just click the tick, and in the same way I'm going to do the dimension 3D look for this as well. Also to you can also try out changing the colored layer, that is the clipping layer that we have created for the mandala. You can try different blending modes and check out which blending mode looks better, looks the way you want. So here I find hard light blending mode looks better for this one, so I'm going for this, and in the same way you have to do for the bottom as well. So now I done for both the top and bottom. Just now duplicate the bottom and top layers, and now I'm going to do the shadow process. To create the shadow process, just click on the alpha lock for that duplicated layer and fill with black color like this, and in the same way just do that for the bottom as well like this. Now just click on the top layer, black color layer, and move it to the left side bottom little bit to create the shadow. Already during that bevel inner process, we added the lighting at the top right. So that's so when the light is at the top, the reflection, I mean the shadow has to be at the bottom. So in that concept, I just moved the shadow layer to the bottom. And once you're done, just use the Gaussian filter to create that shadow, blurry shadow like this. You can feel the shadow a little bit here. Also you can increase the radius in the same way I'm doing for the bottom as well. Here you can see in the same pixel 15 percentage. So now you can further add the shadow if you want, just by using the drop shadow option available in the style filter. You can move and check where you have to place. Since I just made the shadow already at the top, I mean the bottom left side, I'm doing the same thing for this one. I'm just placing the angle at that top, I mean bottom left, and adding the shadow. In the same way I'm doing for this as well. Now you have to now you have to do the background details. For the background details, I'm going to add some highlights at the center. So for that, I'm using aqua blue color and airbrush. Also switch on the mirror ruler if you want to create some symmetric look, and change the blending mode of the that layer and check out which one looks better for that artwork. And here I'm using the hard light. Now I'm I wish to make the corners darker. So to create some darker look, I'm going to use the darkest, you know, aqua, I mean teal blue color like this. If you feel it is more dark, just undo, and I'm adding the black color here. So now I'm going to add some texture to the background. For that, I'm using the surface of the water material from the material patterns color, and adjust the size you want, and also change the blending mode of the layer to overlay or soft light. I like the soft light, so I'm just choosing that soft light blending mode and erasing the corners because I want the same opacity at the center, but I want the darker corners, some faded out texture look. So I just erased at the corner. Now saving this as PNG, and here is my final mandala artwork, 3D mandala, 3D loop mandala. I hope you like my creativity, learn something new from this tutorial, and also check out my other tutorials. Thank you for watching and subscribe to my channel.